This is a continuation of my last video, and I highly recommend that you give it a watch before this. You might be asking, why are you making another video on Havoc? Well, I've recently been informed by a couple people about some extremely disgusting things. First of all, Havoc's main developer, Kane, used to go by the names Zone/Delexory, and he was exposed for grooming a 13-year-old girl while he was 16, stealing assets, racism, mistreating and underpaying his developers, and more. He's gotten himself into an insane amount of controversy for being a piece of shit, and yet somehow, almost no one is talking about it. If you've watched my last video, you'd already know about the fact that Havoc's developers facilitated and worked with a known predator for years, Dead Salmon, aka StopIBlue. A couple hours after I'd released that video, Havoc removed StopIBlue's developer role in their Roblox group, and the day afterward they seemingly removed him from the Discord server as well. But what if I told you that they are lying to you, and they were actually still working with StopIBlue and still paying him behind the scenes? What if I told you that the community manager, Aki, and likely most of the Havoc development team were actually fully aware of StopIBlue's actions? What's more is that an actual Havoc developer very recently contacted me and suspiciously asked me to delay the release of this very video that you're watching now. My previous video on Havoc was released on the 6th of July, like I said. Right after that video, they seemingly removed StopIBlue, but we know for certain that the Havoc devs were working with and paying StopIBlue until at least the 11th of July. But as a matter of fact, it's very likely that they actually still are even to this day. He's still in the Roblox group as a member and can still receive payments. I didn't expect that I'd have to make another video on Havoc, but I can't let them get away with this. As far as I thought, the worst thing Havoc did was work with StopIBlue. But it's so much more worse than that. First, let's go over Havoc's main developer, Kane, or should I say, Delexory. Delexory made the games Blood Engine, Aethelbeorn 1, Aethelbeorn 2, Vectus, Apeirophobia, Blood Engine, and then finally Havoc. Of course, he didn't make all of these games under the same username. He's been through so many account changes and username changes at this point, it's insane. He's been trying to run away from accountability for literal years at this point. His first username he went by was antivirusavg, then Delexory, then Zone or zoneqyl or zoneqyx, then dynulax, and of course now Kane. One of the main exposés on Kane is this one titled ZoneDoc, which I've linked in the description. First off, it tells us a bit of backstory about him, his old usernames, his old projects, etc. Now before I continue any further, we need to prove that Caine, Delexory, and Zone are all the same person. After the release of this video, it's likely he'll try to cover all of this up, but Kaine's name in the Ready to Die community server and L// official server is literally zoneqyl and zoneqyx. Also, in the ZoneDoc, we read this, quote, "He then worked on a game, a revival of Blood Engine, using his Euphoria engine. As of October 2023, Zone is developing Havoc, a sequel of Blood Engine that was inspired by Escape from Tarkov." And this document also provides proof that zoneqyl is Delexory, with a screenshot of, would you look at that, StopIBlue confirming it himself. There is also an expose on Kane on YouTube, with screenshots and comments that back up all of these facts, which I'll also link in the description. Funnily enough, StopIBlue's message was apparently shortly deleted afterward, and I have no doubt that if you were to bring this up in Havoc's Discord server now, you'd likely just get immediately silenced too. Kane and his associates, mainly one named Zal/Mythic, have a history of censoring people who speak up about Kane in his past. In fact, on July 9th, one of my friends mentioned StopIBlue in the Havoc Discord server and got muted for 24 hours. Obviously, don't take anything he was saying seriously, but where in the rules does it mention saying something that just warrants a 24-hour mute? Now that we've proven that Kane, Zone, and Delexory are all the same person, let's have a look at what Kane has done. First up, racism. During the Aethelbeorn period, he would frequently say the hard R in general chat and then delete it after a couple of seconds. And during the Apeirophobia period, him and his friends said the N-word some 650 times. Next up, pedophilia. Now I'm going to censor the name of Kane's victim here, but unfortunately, due to me sharing this document and all that, it's really easy to find her identity. Please, just don't contact or harass Kane's victim. Have some decency. Anywho, the gist of it is that during the Aethelbeorn period, Kane was 16 and was acting weird toward a 13-year-old girl in his server. And when someone called him a pedophile, he insulted him and then muted him. Later on in 2022, Kane's victim elaborated on this, saying that Kane was lying about his age to her and claiming to be 13 or 14, when in reality he was nearly 17.
Atlas Toby on top.
Then in April 2023, Kane's victim came out of nowhere and confirmed she was groomed by Kane. You can't defend this by saying, oh, Kane is just dumb and such, because he knew what he was doing. He was turning 17. You don't fucking lie about your age to a 13-year-old girl unless you know what you're doing is wrong. You know, it's really starting to make sense now why the Havoc team hired and still works with StopIBlue, a known pedophile groomer. Anyway, the document covers how Kane would mistreat his developers and insult them behind their backs, how he'd underpay his developers, how he stole assets from criminality, offsite trading, and the list goes on and on. It's really just the icing on the cake. According to the document, Zal, Kane's associate, claimed that Kane had changed, and the document closes by trying to explain that, most likely, Kane has not changed. Now, I'm not entirely sure when this document was written or released, but judging from the dates given here, it looks like it was released somewhere from mid to late 2023. Also, it looks like the document was actually updated in October 2023. So it's been about 3 years since this document was released, and if I'm being honest, it still doesn't look like Kane has changed. Firstly, him and his team hired StopIBlue, who's a known pedophile groomer, and worked with him for years. And secondly, after my video came out exposing that fact, they lied to everyone by giving us the illusion that they fired and removed StopIBlue. They removed StopIBlue as a developer in their Roblox group and seemingly kicked him from their Discord server, but were still in fact working with him and paying him. And it's not like the Havoc team didn't know about StopIBlue's actions. Aki knew StopIBlue's actions and had been publicly documented several times. There is no way that Kane and the rest of his developers didn't know or never found out. And even if they didn't know the full extent of StopIBlue's actions, that's just incredibly irresponsible for them to fail for years at background checking a known pedophile groomer. And regarding Kane changing, the thing is that even if Kane changed, that doesn't mean he should be absolved of his wrongdoings. As far as I'm aware, Kane has never publicly addressed half of this. He simply just silences people who speak up about him. That's enough about Kane. Let's go over the situation with Havoc and StopIBlue. My previous video on Havoc was released on July 6, 2026. A couple hours after I released that video, Havoc removed StopIBlue's developer role in their group. And then the day afterward, on July 7th, they seemingly kicked him from the Discord server as well. Keep those two dates in mind. Now the important bit, one of my friends spoke with StopIBlue directly on July 9th, and for some reason, StopIBlue just casually pointed out, oh, by the way, I'm still working on Havoc. I'm gonna get paid by them this week or next week. Clear as day. This was several days after he was supposed to have been removed, and yet here he is, still working for them and still being paid. StopIBlue also revealed that he's working on an SMLE rifle that's coming to Havoc soon. Why would he still at that point be working on this rifle if he was removed and fired? To top it off, StopIBlue still has Caine and Aki on his friends list on Roblox. Caine and Aki know what StopIBlue has done, they just don't care. The only reason that they demoted StopIBlue in the Roblox group and removed him from the Discord server is just to cover their asses. And you know what? I think it is extremely telling that the Havoc devs chose specifically to demote StopIBlue instead of outright kicking him from the Roblox group. You know why that's important? Because he can still receive payments. As long as StopIBlue remains a member in their Roblox group, they can still pay him. Here's my message to the Havoc team. If you truly want to remove and fire StopIBlue, why don't you just fucking kick him? Now, during the production of this video, specifically on July 16th, an actual Havoc developer, HellionX, directly contacted me. This person also works for Balthazar. First, they claim that StopIBlue had been removed from everywhere and hasn't received any payment. Now, obviously, I know for a fact this isn't true because they were still working with StopIBlue until at least July 11th, but I'm going to give the specific developer the benefit of the doubt and assume that they aren't aware of that. Also, I pointed out to them that Kane is Delexory, and they replied by saying, I'm pretty sure that the grooming part was fake. And you know what? I'm willing to admit fault if the grooming allegations against Kane are fake, but the evidence speaks for itself. It seems to be pretty clear that there was some weird shit going on between Kane and this 13-year-old girl. Anywho, then HellionX literally asks me to delay the release of this video. I asked them why, but I didn't really get a straight answer. And then they say, quote, I would prefer you not mentioning anything from these DMs in your videos. This to me is extremely suspicious. Why is a Havoc developer coming into my DMs requesting me to delay my video on their team for seemingly no definitive reason and then asking me to not leak the conversation? Honestly, I wonder if the higher-ups in Havoc got this dev to contact me like this. Anyway, the conversation continues on for a bit, and I say, you should get them to fully rid StopIBlue off the team. To which Delexory replies, we did, no. And then they claim that StopIBlue had been removed around July 10th to July 12th. And then they claim that the Havoc team is looking for another animator. The thing is, I really do hope that this is the truth and StopIBlue really has been fired, but considering that he was still working on the game until at least July 11th and also said that he's gonna be paid, quote, later this week or next week, there's a good chance that this isn't true and that he is still working on the game. Also, I asked Delexory why the Havoc team kept a pedophile on the team for so long, and this is what they had to say. Think of it what you will, but like I said in the reply, it really is just a bunch of shitty excuses, and it is entirely Havoc's fault for not removing StopIBlue sooner. If they did fire him on the 12th, good, but that still doesn't excuse the fact that they worked with him for years. Again, not only did Aki, the community manager, know about StopIBlue's actions, but StopIBlue's crimes were well known and well documented. I'm going to close this video by trying to clear a few things up. After I released my video, there were a couple people who thought I was saying that Havoc is a bad game, or who thought I was just trying to get popularity. And I want to make it clear that this is not my intention, even in the slightest. I'm not saying that Havoc is a bad game. I never said it was a bad game, and I don't care about popularity. I simply feel that it's necessary to spread awareness of this disgusting situation because, truth be told, almost nobody is. Please, form your own opinions on Havoc from this video and my previous video. If you've watched this video and you still decide to play Havoc, sure, go ahead, I can't stop you. But just realize that by you buying access to Havoc and playing it, you are directly supporting these horrible people who platformed a known pedophile groomer. And you are directly supporting Kane, who's been running away from accountability for his disgusting actions for years and just making a new game each time. Havoc, at the end of the day, is a Tarkov clone. So if you want to play a game similar to Tarkov, there are many other ways to do it besides, supporting this disgusting developer team. I know that a lot of people who watch my video or this one will have the mentality of something like, it doesn't matter if I stop playing Havoc, one person won't make a difference. But I just want to say that isn't the point. If you want to continue playing Havoc because you already bought it, be my guest. But the point I'm trying to get across is, if 1,000 people had that mentality, then that's 1,000 people that can make a huge difference, but instead make zero difference because they each think, me not playing won't make a difference. If a good portion of the Havoc player base stops playing the game and Havoc's stats tank, that will force the Havoc devs to actually address our concerns and do something about this. And lastly, I'd like to take a moment to thank everyone who helped in the creation of this video. Everyone who provided me with the information about Caine, Aki, Havoc, etc. Thank you. This has been another Asdoon Classic. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.
I've been watching you parallel, you've nothing to lose. I'm suffocating, I'm cellophane, I'm